Excuse me. I don't. I'm just trying to. Just a minute, please. I should have. I don't know that this thing is opened. I should have just completed it before. But just because I've not done that, I will not be allowed to record another thing. So I just quickly want it to. Mm, Let me just cancel it, not to waste our time. Let me just cancel it. Okay, this is already recording already. So let me quickly open my Anaconda. Mm, Sorry for keeping us waiting. Okay. Okay. Now I welcome us back to the class. Sorry for uh the the minutes you've wasted on that. I supposed to have either cancel it or probably close it or save the file before now. So I will start with the aim grade I explained the previous class. So anytime you are working on a data analysis project, one of the things we should always consider is this aim grade. So this aim grade can be used to, it can actually help us anytime we are working on a data analysis project, and I feel it's very important. Although there are a lot of template, there are a lot of method, a lot of people use, a lot of approach they use while working on data analysis project. So I just feel I saw it on YouTube on somebody's channel, so I was just trying to explain the aim grade and how we can use it to just work with our data analysis project, and probably just to call it a success. And I just feel that, oh, this also very important and essential to know. So the first thing that is very important anytime we are working on a data analysis project is knowing the company you are working for or you are working with. So the understanding of the company will help you to really know what really matters to them. And in the last class, I think I used loan company for example, that if you are a data analyst and you are working with a loan company, you will know that probably they will want to, their some of the analysis will be on their customer bank statement, that is the incoming and outgoing of their income, probably what they earn and what they spend, or just like the inflow and outflow of their income. So the analysis will be based on their bank statement. So they will be able to know and be very sure, and they will be able to predict if this kind of person taking a loan from us will be able to pay it back based on the statement of his account. So just something like that, you see that some we want to borrow. There's one time I downloaded one loan app like that. So I was trying to borrow or just take a loan of some certain of amount. So just seeing all of my bank accounts that it has been a while I've even received money on it. They said the money they can lend to me is like maybe 1,200 or even 2K. So and that happened based on probably what they've seen in the traces of my bank statement. So knowing the company will help you to know what is matter to your company. And also, if you are taking a just like a project, or if you want to consider the project for the company, one of the things you should another thing that you should consider is the purpose of the project. So after knowing your company, you must know the purpose of their project. Or probably if you are taking a gig, maybe you end up doing freelancing, maybe you are working on Upwork. Like there is a freelance there are a lot of freelancing platform, but the most common ones are Fiverr and Upwork. So there's a way people set up gig there, and you can bid for job, you can send a proposal. If you see anybody that send, even some can lead to a 6 month contract that they will pay you working on their data, and even some can lead to a permanent employment. So everybody's way is kind of different. So anytime you see a project like that, another thing you should know is know the purpose of the project. When you understand the purpose of the project, it will be very easy for you to know what is being expected of you. And on this kind of projects now that we want to work on, one of the purpose of the project is to unlock sales insights that are not feasible before the sales team. So you must know that this your analysis is targeted at unlocking the sales insight that are not feasible before the sales team. So the sales teams are expecting you, like you are just like a messiah to the sales team. So they want you to come up with a visualization to unlock some insights that are not feasible to them. So and this will support their decision making, or basically basically is going to uh so basically is going to the number one thing is the sales team is expecting you to come up with an analysis that will unlock the insights that are not feasible before. Just like in numbers, the data of their sales is in numbers and probably in Microsoft Excel or probably in database, and it will be kind of, especially when those data is becoming larger and larger, maybe 100 and something thousands or 30 something thousand. So it will be very difficult for them to unlock all those insights from those sales. But based on your own analytical thinking, the use of all these particular tools we use for analysis, you'll be able to use them on those data and get them what is not feasible for them initially. And when it comes to automation, that's when you are working with power dashboard. And in this kind of project, we are not building any dashboard. So when a purpose of a project is telling you that, oh, probably there should be an automation that is something that they can just be automated. That is coming to dashboard, whereby you can build even at times you can build a dashboard that is connected to a live data. So immediately the data is being increased or new data enter to that database, the dashboard will just keep changing, it will keep updating. So there's a way you can build a dashboard and attach it to a live data. So and then in this kind of analysis, to reduce manual time spent in data gathering. So data gathering is just like data collection, so that is more focus on dashboard also. So when you connect it to a live data, so most of the time the analysis will keep continue. Like anytime there is a new data, they don't need to you don't need to sit down and analyze it anymore. So the dashboard you created will just be automated, it will be updating. And also the other thing is knowing your stakeholders, and your stakeholders can be a sales director. That is, probably you are working with a sales data. Sales director may be your stakeholder that you need to report every step of the analysis and try to ask question, update the person on the progress of what you are doing and some of the insights you discover while performing the analysis. So sales director can be your stakeholder. Marketing team can be your stakeholder. That is, marketing team may want to know, okay, probably, and you will know. I think I use this example too. When you sign up on any website or you saw maybe like an opportunity, somebody is just asking you that, oh, I said somebody in that kind of link, you may see how did you hear about us. They may give an options of Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. They just want to know where the traffic is coming from. So basically, those like the this like I'm just trying to relate the marketing team. So one of the strategy of marketing team may be like, okay, when that they are structuring their survey or their form, so they just put it there so that they will know where they are really working and where the traffic is coming from. So it may be the marketing team that is your stakeholders that you need to report every step of your analysis to, so that they will know how they are going to market their product and know where they can get more traffic of people to buy the product, or from where they are expecting more sales. So also customer service team. So it may be customer service team. They may want to learn from their previous customer experience, what they did. Maybe there's some certain method they are using, or their kind of words they are using in their uh, customer service that probably their customers don't really like. So they may want to evaluate their performance in the previous year or in their past dis thing, so that they will be able to know effectively what they should eradicate, or probably what they should do more in their upcoming times of work. So it may be data and analytical team. So this kind of data and analytical team, at times you may be a data analyst whereby you are not the only one. You can be a data scientist, data engineer. You can even be more data analyst, because we have intern, we have junior data analyst, we have mid data analyst, we have senior, we have like very like we have uh categories in even this data analyst. Because as an intern, even if you call yourself a data analyst, there's some crazy things that an intermediate or junior data analyst can do that you may not be able to do. So if you are an intern now, for example, you are intern in a company as a data analyst, you may need to report to junior data analyst for any of you may need to be updating him or her, so that it's going to correct you based on something. And it may be direct to senior data analyst, so to guide you, to ask question, because they really know more than you. So and it may be that you are connected to a data scientist, or connected to a data engineer, or even the IT, which are the software engineers. So this may be your stakeholders. So because stakeholders are not stable and it's not a fixed thing, it's just like somebody that you need to give an update on what you are actually doing. And another thing is end result. This is very important. What is the end result of your project? Because if you can figure out all these things, anytime you are working on a project, it will be much easier for you to to really work on that particular project. So once you can structure and break down all these things, it will be more easier because you will know where you are going. Because data analysis, I can three team or three people can pick up with data, and you can analyze that data individually. And when you come together, or probably you are trying to submit that kind of analysis, you may have the same, you may have different, completely different insights. That's how data analysis project works. Because what you see, or your assumption on the data may be different from mine. So it's always good to divine all these things so that it will be a guide when you are analyzing. You will not digress or probably just be doing, giving charts. I think there's a book called The Art of Storytelling. I don't know if we can check it online. I've forgotten the author. I read it one time like that. The title of the book is uh art of storytelling. So that art of storytelling was just explaining some of the charts you can use, and how some of the charts that are more simpler to eyes to understand. So you not just be analyzing data, be putting chart, be putting anything, and you just think you are doing it. So that book really structure and break down some of the visualization chart that you can use, how you can make it more readable, more feasible, how you can even bring out an insight. I think the book is kind of big or something. I read it one time like that. I cannot really remember. Art of storytelling. You can check it online, or probably check on all these different kind of books. So because you can actually learn also from books. So end result, once you know your end result, it will be very much easier for you to to analyze the data and give an insight that is not totally off from the expectation. And after your end result, you must be able to know how to use success criteria, because success criteria too is the biggest of all. When you know the purpose, you've analysed your data, you know the end result, you must also use a success criteria to validate all you've done. Just like, okay, in this particular project analysis uncovering monthly sales, so you already know that, okay, some of your success criteria is analysis uncovering monthly sales. So you must compare your analysis to this. Is it that my analysis, is it uncovering monthly sales, or is there any insight that speak about monthly sales, or analysis that uncovered maximum order? Is there any maximum order in my analysis? And some of their hourly analysis, just like probably the way people tend to buy things hourly, or maybe in minutes, or kind of some certain time that people rush their product, or even if they want to do ad, because some now especially dey call some people WhatsApp influencer. So this WhatsApp influencer is just like dey help people to advertise, or probably those ones can have thousands of contact. Some of them, even when they want to post on their status, there are times they know that people will tend to feel the status. So that's because I have like somebody that explained something like that to me, that okay, probably you put something on your status now, maybe your status would have go down, there will still be some time you need to upload, like update, abi is it upload another thing, so that your status can come up, people can check. And if people don't check, there is like they shall know the time trend, they can be uploading those things so that people can actually check. So this thing too may be like they want to know the hours that they have more sales, or when they want to do some advertisement, some hours they are looking into, they are targeting, so that they can get more sales or more customer. So that's it. Then there are a lot of, they can improve or increase their profit by some certain percent. All these things are just like you must be able to validate them from the analysis. And this is just like a draft out from me. We can, anytime we are working on a project, and this was just a rough work then, and I don't think I've even visited it. So it's something we can, and according to like to our project that we'll be working with, I would even love us to use something also, like just something like this, that because I said we should put ourselves in team of five, one team lead, then probably four. So you can reach out to people, and if they can love to, I should be the one to group us, but I don't think that should be the major way. So we can actually reach out to people that you need, you want. I just want to make it just like the way we do hackathons, coding competition. You be the one reaching out to people that will be in your team. So you can reach out to people that, okay, I want to form a team, can you be in my team? And you can work on something, you can develop all these particular things, your expected result, you can pick up with data, although I will still give more information about the project, so that we know how we can go about it. Then the problem statement for the sales analyst: what is the order ID, product name, quantity of product, product price, purchase address. Then analyze most sold product. So we must be able to analyze the most sold product, highest sales in which month. Then things to consider: we must prepare the data for analysis. Preparation of the data is just like cleaning of the data, validating the data, changing those data type that are not compatible, removing outliers, different kind of dropping NA. So just like the source of preparation is just like source of cleaning that particular data. Then things to consider also: just analysis of monthly sales. We must consider monthly sales so that we can know the kind of month. Just like Jumia do something, they do, I think they do Black Friday or something. So these are kind of, uh these are just kind of tactic, these are just kind of scope they use to know the time they can do their Black Friday. And that, so that, because if they just do the Black Friday and they may end up not even seeing a customer, so possibly they can do the analysis of monthly sales to know the kind of month that people tend to buy more, so that they can put that Black Friday in that particular month. And just something like that, understanding the trend of each month sales. Then analysis, just to analyze the maximum orders, and hour analysis. Then analyze most sold product. So how can we know the most sold product? So all these things are just things we need to consider while working with our data. And this is just like the folder for the project, and this is just the notebook. So the first thing to do anytime we are working on the project is importing the necessary library, which we have: import pandas as PD, import matplotlib as pyplot as plt, import seaborn. Pandas work with data frame, matplotlib work with visualization and seaborn. So these are basic necessary library we need for visualization. Then also import the data set. How can we import the data set? We use df. You can call this df, is just like a data frame. So we can call, okay, somebody want to ask question, right?
Yes, my question is very simple, sir. This report is what is the meaning of that word?
Oh, this OOS is just like for you to check the part of your laptop, the part the part at which your data is. But just because I'm not checking for the part, I already have the data in my folder. Adding be the data is not inside my folder, I should have used this to check the part. at which my file is. So they use OS most of the time to check for the path at which the data is, because if this data is not in the folder, I should have copied the path where the data is and copy and paste it here. I don't know, maybe we get it. So OS is basically for working with paths.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now, just because the data is inside the folder, because I don't, most of the time this part of a thing always give headache. At times you may want to use a backslash, you may want to use a forward slash, and it may, so it's just more advisable to put it in a folder that you want to work with, so it will make it more easier and even make your work more organized. So me putting this data inside the folder, I did not need to copy any part, so I just put the name here, which is all underscore data.csv, and this data comprises of a monthly sales from January to December. So because this has ex ten sion of CSV, so I use pd.read_csv. This pd is pandas, then df.head give the first 5 rows of our data, and you can see it here. So we can see it here. Then the other thing is data cleaning. How can you clean your data? The first thing is checking for okay, I think it will, let me just rerun this again. So the next thing is data cleaning, which is very important. And in data cleaning, you need to check your data type, that to know the kind of data type we are working with. And we already know we have integer, we have float. Integers are number without decimal. Float is the one that has decimal. Then string is also known as object. So when you see object, that shows is a number, that is just like a text type. So at times when you see a number, can you see here now, the other id is object, in which the other id here is number. So that is something, that something is wrong with this particular data. So we need to change all this particular data type to the data type that are compatible. So I check my first this thing to be sure of this particular data type, and I can find out that this is number, which should be integer, this should be integer, this should be float, and everything here is just object. So I need to change them. So now also I need to check for the numbers of my missing value. So I can do that by checking df dot is null, open bracket, then dot sum. So this give me the total missing value, and we can see here nan. These are just like what we call missing value. In this row 1, these are just like missing value. So e help me to calculate the numbers of missing value in each column, and this is it. We have 545. So I want to check the length of my data. We have 106,000 abi 186,850. So now I can okay, then I can check the shape of my data. I have 6 column, and I have 186,850 rows. So now I want to drop all the missing value, because they are even, number one, the reason why it's more easier for me to drop is because they are evenly distributed. All the column has the same missing value, which is 545. So it's more safer to drop it. Then now dropping it, I have 186,305 instead of 186,850. So I try to minus it here to be sure the numbers of missing value that is being dropped, and I can see now that I have 545, which is missing value here. So that's it here. Then what is the best month for sales? How can we get the best month for sales? So I can check on the names of the column again to know where the month sales are. We have order date, we have price each, we have quantity order. Then order date should be a column that speak about the date. So I can work with that by using df square bracket order date then dot date type to see the data type of that. So I can find out now that after running this I can see that this my order date has object, whereas e suppose to have a date, date data type or date time. So that's what lead me to checking the uniqueness of that particular um column, to know the unique value in that column, which we use df square bracket order date dot unique. So once I run it now I'm going to see the uniqueness. So these are just like the uniqueness of that particular the data inside order date, which we have 04/19/19. So these are just like, and I think the reason why is object is because number one is inside a quotation mark, and number two e has a slash. So this can be some of the causes why is object or just like a string data type. So I need to do that by splitting it, that is splitting it by, and don't forget that our target is month, and here we can see that this start with month, date and year. So this just like in that order. So we need to remove the month data out of this year, so to put it in another column. So this, the first one is month, the second one is day, the third one is year, and this just like the time. Like I just copy one out of this particular unique feature. So and if, and don't forget that this square bracket zero is just like what I taught us in list, which are just like index. So the first position has index of 0, 19 has index of 1, and this has index of so if I keep changing it now, if I use 1 you see we have 19, if I use 2 we have this, we have 19, 08, this. So if I change it back to 0, so my target is just month, that's why I use 0. Then I try to write a function here to just bring out that only month, and to make it more automated I'm writing a function whereby I can apply to the whole data, and it's going to bring out the month alone in a particular column, so that I'll be able to visualize the month and relate it with sales to know the month that have the highest sales. So if I run it now, and you can see we are familiar with anything that starts with def is called function. Then I use month bracket x, this is just like an argument where I explain it can be positional, and it can be uh positional argument, and it can be key word argument. So this is just like putting x here, and we are returning x dot split bracket this then square. We are just picking, after splitting it we are picking the first item which has index of 0. So we are adding that month column, def month then equals to def order date is what we are working with. Then we are trying to apply the function written here, which is dot apply month. Then if I run it now and try to check this, you see that our month also has an object data type, which is a string, and it should be a it should be integer or float. It should be integer, just because point cannot be in a month, which because we only have 1 to 12, which is January to December. So we are expecting integer, but now we are seeing object. So if I run this and check, we can see that we have 040. So this should give us integer, but now it's giving us object here. So I need to check the uniqueness, or let me first try changing the data type to integer and see what is going to happen. So this is how you change a data type, just like def, this is the original column, then we equal it just like this assignment operator, def month then dot as type integer. This will change this particular features to integer. But let's see what will happen. You see that it gave error, just telling us that that particular invalid literal for integer which has base 10, so other date. That is, there is something inside that column that does not allow the changing of type to integer. Until we remove that thing, we cannot change that particular data type. So how can we do it? Then we need to check, before we do that, we need to check that thing that is preventing us not to change the data type of that column to integer. How can we do that? I just need to check the uniqueness using this dot unique. Then this is just like 0. For the unique value here, we have 0 5, we have 4 5. Then we have other dates, we have 8, we have 9, we have 12. These are just like normal numbers of January to December. But now we have other dates amidst this particular number. That is, there is maybe probably when they are imputing the data, there is a mistake of them imputing other date instead of number, and this other date need to be removed, because if we don't remove it, we cannot change this data type to integer, because they are just their integer value without month cannot be in float value, so they should be in integer, and we cannot do that except we remove this. How can we do that? We can do that by using filtering. So in Excel, we can easily filter, then uncheck that particular category. But here we have to write the code out to perform something like that. So now we use filter equals to df, then month, which is equals to order. We are looking for that particular order date. So once in this, checking through this column of df month, once is able to see other date, e should just negate that particular filter. Then we are now trying to check the length after negating it, after removing it. So now we can see now that our new length is now 1885,950. Then we try to put this df equals to df negation then filter. So we are removing it permanently, and we are trying to check it. You see now that it has now reduced to 1800 and 1000 abi 185,950. Then we have 7 column. So if we try to read it now, we see that this number is here, and if you try to change the data type again to integer, you see that there will not be error just because we've removed it. Now if we run it, we see now that our month features has changed to integer, just because we've removed what is preventing us not to change it, and now we can change it successfully. Then we try to check the data type, and it give this. So also we need to check for the data type of price. We already know the data type of price each, which is object. You can see it here, price each is object, and this price each is a float value. Price is in float, and we need to change it to a float value, because here is giving us object which is like string. So if I run it now by changing it, okay, e change, this does not have a problem. Then also we are trying to change the quantity order to quantity order is a number, and here we are seeing object, so we want to change it to integer, and I think it changed also. And also we need to create a column for sales. So how can we create a column for sales? We create a column for sales from multiplying the quantity order multiplied by price each. So we have quantity order. It's just like when we are checking profit from revenue and cost. You know, cost is just like profit is just like revenue minus cost. That's what will give us a profit. So when we minus our cost from revenue, we are going to get a profit. So that's what we are doing here also. We are trying to check for sales by multiplying quantity order multiply by price each. And how can you do that? You can do that by creating a column by using df then square bracket sales equals to def quantity order multiply by def price each. This just like a column of quantity multiply by column of price each, and we are going to store them in sales. So if I run this now, we are going to see what will happen. So if I run it now, you see now that we have sales column now, and this sales column is multiplication of quantity order multiply by price each. So 2 times 11 times 4. Okay, so I can cross check that by multiplying this, and you can see now that I have multiplying the quantity order multiplied by price each, which is 2 times 11.95 gave 23.9, which is this, which is 23.9. So that's what gave us sales. And now we need to group by the month and the sales. That is, we want to know the sales in each month, so that we are going to know the month that have the highest sales. And how can we do that is by grouping by the month and the sales, so that we can know the sales, how sales grew in each month. So if I run this now, you can see now that this is just like a representation of month, which is 1 to 12, which is from month January to December, and these are just like the total sales of each month. So this may be difficult for us to know the highest and the lowest, but if we put it in a chart, it will be much easier. It will be much easier. So easier to see them in chart and be able to figure out the months that have the highest sales. So how can we do that is by putting, okay, month equals to range. We already know range. I think I explained range before to us, that range is just like you giving a range of a number. So here it's just like number 1 to 13, although this is 1 to 13, but a range, the last number is always minus 1. So here will now be 1 to 12, just like me using 1 to 13. So it's going to give us 1 to 12, because anytime you are using a range, you plus 1 to it, because the expected result will be minus 1. So this will give us 1 to 12, which is month January to December. Then we are plotting bar chart on this particular group by month and sales, like the total sales in each month. And we are labeling that the x-axis, which is x label, y label is sales in USD, then x label is month in numbers. So just month should be in numbers. And if I run this now, oh, it's going to be error. So it's going to work now. So now we can see conveniently that December has the highest sales, which we has in 12. So this is just like month 1, this is the sales in USD, and this is just month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5 till like December. And you can see that December has the highest sales. So now, according to our criteria, we can see now conveniently that December has the highest sales. Okay, you can now.
Thank you. This is the work of what is the work of that label S.
Okay, y label abi. Hello.
x6, x6, x
Okay,
equal bracket month.
okay, just this stick is just like we we use month here, which is month equals to range 1 to 3. This x stick is just like is a function with bar chart that make it in a in a horizontal. This is just what make this to be tally to this horizontal. This is what is referring to. X is just like x sticks with bar chart is just like working with the horizontal part of it, and that's why we put month x month. This we specify here, which is month equals to range 1 comma 13. So that's just we are trying to, if we did not put it, it may not be in, like we are just trying to, there's a way we fix it that okay, this will be in a y axis and this will be in a x axis. And when we are talking about bar chart at times does not really need to specify the y axis because it's just like a count of each month. So x sticks is the one that make it feasible, make the month to be in the x axis. Did you get that? And we can
So
also,
can you remove it
Yes.
and run it first?
okay, I should remove it abi.
And run, yes, that's so we'll get to see.
Okay. Did you see that bar chart is missing one requirement, which is the oh, okay, let me start from here. You know, when I remove it twice, I remove it from this bar, which is the month, then this, and I clean it from here, which is month, then comma df dot group by month. So initially it recognize that month as height, and height is in what, is in vertical axis. So what now make it to be in the horizontal axis is by using that x stick, so that is, I don't know, maybe we get it. So we can see something now that is telling us that missing a required position argument, which is height, and our month is not height because height is vertical. Our month should be horizontal. I don't know, maybe we get that.
Very good. Which means that x6 can only be used for bar chart. It can't be used for histogram or pie chart.
No, no. Is commonly used with bar chart, although it may work with histogram too, because histogram and bar chart look similar. But when you are working with scatter plot, you are working with line chart, you are working with maybe pie chart, you don't need to use it.
Okay, thanks. Which means that if you use that x6 for histogram, you have to be specifying the axis. Maybe y stick on the attribute of the y stick, stick the attribute of the stars. Abi?
Basically this just, let me explain. What x sticks does here is just like it convert what should be vertical to be horizontal. It's just, that's just basically what it does. Putting it inside that plt dot bar, it recognize it as a vertical axis, and we don't want it to be in vertical, so that it's going to show what we are working with clearly. That's why I'm using x sticks to make it vertical, just like commanding what is in vertical to be horizontal. That's just what it does. That's basically. So anytime you are working with maybe like histogram, and you place something that see what you are writing as as vertical and you want to make it horizontal. So and at times it may not work with other, so you just, if you are working on it and you apply it and it's not working, you can just probably read more about that particular thing, because at times you may apply it with something, because this thing always has a reason for using them. It's not that we just use them. So now there's a reason for me to use it, because month is recognized as height and I want to make it vertical, I want to make it horizontal, instead of, I want to make it just like my breadth instead of height. So if I run it now, you see that where is it, you see now that the month now is now in just like a breadth, just like horizontal. E recognize this should be where this 1 to 12 should be. This sales USD, adenbi I did not use that x-ticks, it will not be in this particular horizontal, it's going to be vertical. That's why it's telling us that it missed the height instead of the, just like something like the breadth, it should be like breadth not height, which is horizontal not vertical. That's just what the function here. So most of the time they are just like reason to use them. So now we want to check the city that has the maximum order. So how can we do that? I firstly want to check the names of the column, then also check the uniqueness of purchase address, because while we are working with the city that has the maximum order, and that is just in the address column. That's the only way we can, that's the only place we can see it. And we can also, we use split in working with other dates to split out the month, and here now we want to split out the city out of the full address. How can we do that? We know the position of the city is just like this one is, this one is just like, if we look at 917 first st Dallas, then tx 75001. So now we know that Dallas is in the middle, which if we are to consider uh the, what can I call this, the index of this. So the first one is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. So now we are trying to split with comma and pick, bringing out the one that is in position of index of 1, and we will see that that is Dallas. So saying this, that shows we are going to use this to split all the unique value in purchase address, so that we can bring out the city. So we do that by writing small function also, def city, then open bracket x dot dot return x dot split, then just like bringing out with that one, just like the way we split our order date. So if I run this now, I have to apply this function to the city, like df city, you know city is not already in my data. So me just using df city is just like creating a feature for city, which is df city then equals to df purchase address dot apply city. Apply this city is just like the names of the function. So if I run this now, and let me just, let me let me use, so that we can see what we've done. So now we already have city here, and we have Dallas, Boston, Los Angeles. So these are just like this small function, and applying it to this is the one that gave us this, just like the way we work with month the other time. So now we want to group by city, because city is a text, and we can only group it by and counting it, that is counting how many times each city appear in that column. Maybe how many times Boston appears, Dallas appears, Los Angeles appears, and so many names that I cannot see right now. So you grouping it by and counting how many times they appear. So you can see now that Atlanta appears in this particular time, Austin, Boston, Dallas, Los Angeles. So these are just like the count, and it will be much difficult for us to know. So we can do that by putting it uh chart. We can see now that we still use x-axis here also, and we use rotation to be vertical. Can you see now that instead of this should put it horizontal, now we are adding rotation equals to vertical. That is, this should be normally e should make it horizontal, but now we don't want it to be horizontal. Now we are using a rotation to make it vertical, that is changing the direction. So that's just like aesthetics that we were asking about the other time. So now we are just trying to change that particular direction. Instead of horizontal, it should now be vertical. And this y label is just like what should be in the y axis, like the label, just like what should be there, receive order in y axis and x axis, which is sitting name. So if I run this now, so now we can see now that these are just like the name. So receive orders and the city name, so these are just like the names of those cities. And we can see San Francisco is the city that has the maximum order based on this our code. And we can see, I think the second one is Los Angeles, so we can see it here. And what time should we display advertisement? Now the other things in our agenda is working with the time to advertise, that is knowing the time to advertise in that particular data set. So if we run this, you see that checking the data type of this does not correlate, just because order date is not in date format. Then we need to change that to a proper date format. How can we do that? We do that by pd. Pandas has a function to change anything inside it to a date time. So pd dot to underscore date time open bracket def order date, which is order date colon, then dot dt dot hour. Dot hour will now bring out hour. After changing that order date to a particular time, date time, is now going to extract the hours and put it uh in this hour column. So if I run this and I try to check what is going on by using df dot head, so I'm still waiting for it to load. I don't know why it's taking much time. So I'm still trying to wait for it to load. So I'm still waiting for that particular column to. So in the meantime, I just want to use it to do some stuff. So I think it's taking time, and we need to wait for it to load, because if it does not load, there's no way we can work with other features. Let's just give it some minutes to load. I don't know it will be taking this much time. just a minute for it to load.